Hi everyone, so the new moon in Sagittarius is going to be exact on Wednesday, November 23rd at 5:57 p.m. Eastern Time, and this is a good opportunity to check in and do a collective reading for my woo homies. If you want more freedom and harmony in the world, you are definitely one of my woo homies, and this reading is for you. I'm going to do a 4x3 tableau with my Golden Dawn deck here. I've already shuffled it. I'm going to cut it in a moment, but before, the significator that I've chosen for us collectively for this Sagittarius season is the Princess of Cups. And the question that I shuffled on for this tarot reading is what should we be focusing on right now? Because, you know, Sagittarius is the last astrological season that is entirely contained within the calendar year. Capricorn season begins in late December, bringing us into the new year. So it felt like a good opportunity to see in which direction we should orient our final sprint for the year. And as always, I have 3 oracle cards set to the side. The question that I shuffled on for these is, what should this group be focusing on? So it's a really unified reading. You're free to choose 1, 2, or all 3 of these cards, depending on what resonates with you. So let's get to it. I'm going to cut the deck and see what we have. So the bottom of the deck appears to be the Lover's card. It'll depend where the Princess of Cups is. Let me see. Princesses are topless, so it should be easy to find. No, that's the Princess of Swords. I was hesitating, but I knew that our significator had to be a Cups card. I was hesitating between the Princess, the Queen, and the Prince, but I opted for the Princess. I haven't zeroed in on what my significator selection process is, and it's looking like the Lover's card is going to be in the reading. Yeah, exactly. The Princess of Cups is right here, which means the cards before her are here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the cards after her are here. 1, 10 of Swords and 10 of Wands have shown up in our reading again, and the actual bottom of the deck is the Emperor card. So I'm going to put these cards in order, stare at them a bunch, and I will see you right now. All right, so here's the deal. In many ways, this feels like a rehash of the Sagittarius reading that the more dedicated of you saw 2 days ago, or that I published 2 days prior to this reading anyway. And there are a lot of themes that have come up in these readings as of late, which have come up again. And it's honestly, it's for reasons like, it's for shit like this that I took my foot off the gas for a little while and I wasn't doing as many of these collective woo readings. But one thing is for sure, I'm definitely going to continue these for at least the next 3 months going into Pisces season. But regardless of this, I think that the reading can be summarized in a couple short sentences. I'm going to dress it up anyway and point out things, but the crux of it is to, for the question, what should we be focusing on? I think that these last couple weeks before the year ends, because, yeah, my intention is a little bit beyond Sagittarius season. But coming back to what I was saying, I think that for these last few weeks until the end of the year, The thing to focus on is to clarify what we want to create for next year and to get the ducks in a row that we need to do that. However, and I don't want to make light of the Ukraine situation, but I feel that there's also an element of preparing for the winter stalemate. Like, I don't know about how things are in your neck of the woods, but I feel like this winter is going to be more like a stalemate compared to last year. Definitely in my neck of the woods, that's how it feels. You know, I can't predict the future, but yeah. Now, before I move on, I want to point out I really find it funny that the Nine of Wands was in this reading because you know, in the Golden Dawn system, it represents the moon in Sagittarius, and this is a reading for the new moon in Sagittarius, so I thought that was funny. But coming back to the reading itself, I can't help but picture this column here as like a wall, and that ties into what I was saying earlier. It's like if this wall is here, and the thing to focus on is what's on the other side of this wall, which is the Two of Swords, Ace of Wands, and the Lover's card. Now, I find it very interesting that these two tens are accompanied by the Ace of Cups at the top of this column here. And it's almost as if the question is, with the obstacles that the rest of the year may or may not have in store for us, to see how we can seize opportunity in those obstacles. And another thing that I almost forgot to mention, I rarely pay... in these readings, I don't usually say much about this column here because I tend to read this direction as time. So I'm trying to focus more on the future than the past. But the message in this column is to never forget that we have the strength to deal with whatever the world throws our way. Represented like explicitly by the Strength card and also by the Nine of Wands. When I do these readings, I don't like to pay too much attention on the names that each of these pip cards has, but the Nine of Wands is called Great Strength. But you know, just in front of it, we have the Ten of Wands called Oppression, the Ten of Swords called Ruin. So that is what was giving me the impression of this column here as a wall. So I think that, in short, don't lose sight of the vision that you want to create for next year, and try to reverse engineer the things that are needed between right now and the end of the year that you think you will need to create that vision that I'm encouraging you to clarify, and to do what you can to get those things to finalize. You know, like I forget if it was the ant or the grasshopper that was preparing for the winter, but the prudent one, to really focus on that. And also, coming back to themes that I've repeated over many times through these readings, there is an inkling, a nod to rekindle relationships which may have undergone stress but are not that are salvageable. That's a nice way to put it, because you know the Lover's card is. It's a card of divine timing, divine choices, but it's called the Lovers. It's a nod to how, on the other side of whatever this wall represents, there is an opportunity for love. And in the context of this reading and what these readings are about, I can't help but read this as just an encouragement that and again, be be wise in how you apply this judgment. But it's yet another reminder to not be so quick to write people off for good. And there might be people that over the last 2.5 to 3 years that you may or may not have written off for good, that you may have done a little too hastily. Again, coming back to the names of cards, which for some reason in this reading, I'm doing it more. The Two of Swords, the name of this card is Peace Restored. So I think that part of the vision, the opportunity, what we want to begin to create for next year, can involve people and mending our relationships with those people. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I'll tell you what's distracting me now. As I was saying those words, I just realized how this applies to me in my life. So I'm going to try to put that to the side and focus back on you that I'm ultimately reading for. So, in short, another thing I want to mention, there's a lot of fire and air. This is another recurring theme. I think that was also the case in the Sagittarius season reading. Oh, I think it was fire and water. I forget. But one thing is for sure, there's a lot of fire, a lot of will, passion. If we include the bottom of the deck, there are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6. Fire cards. So this is a moment to don't do anything rash, but remember that it is through your will and your passion that you can manifest the things that you want to manifest for next year. And I think that going into these last couple weeks of the year, it's not the time to let your foot off the gas. It's time to prepare for the winter stalemate, to prepare for the hibernation, for lack of a better term, and to make sure that the things that are within your control are, in order. I'm nodding to the Emperor here. And always, always, always remember that I don't think there's anything that can be thrown at us that we are not prepared to handle and that we don't have the strength to handle, and taking at these 2 cards here. So all in all, this is yet another reminder to just really be clear on what we want to manifest, and to really, I would encourage you to do what you can to clarify how you want next year to be, and to use these weeks as an opportunity to set yourself up for that. So I think I have looped enough for this reading. I've viewed just enough, maybe a little too much, hopefully not, but let's move to the Oracle card portion of this reading. So for those of you who picked this card, your card is Alchemy. You can't make this shit up. This is awesome. I'm gonna read the I pulled this card recently also in another video, but anyway, I'm going to reread this. The frequency of alchemy activates our magical ability and remembrance of the magic that we all hold inside. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge that allowed the true alchemist to perform the miracles of transmutation. So this I'm seeing as a nod to this portion of the reading here of whatever the wall, whatever proverbial wall is represented by these 2 tens and this ace here, to really transform these 2 tens into the ace that we want to manifest. And really, don't be afraid to collect a little bit of lead, because for those of you who picked this card, I anticipate that you'll have an easier time turning that lead into gold that you can use to, create this ace of opportunity that you want to create. For those of you who picked this card, oh my God, your archetype card is Companion. I have never pulled this card before, but with a name like Companion, given the reading I just gave, I am anticipating. Let's see. The light attribute is loyalty, tenacity, and Unselfishness, there we go. And the shadow attribute is betrayal by misusing confidences, loss of personal identity. So this comes back to this row here. It's really funny how that works. By that logic, this card will focus something on this, but we'll see. Coming back to you. Let me reread this. Loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. So yeah, I think it's time. I'll go back to something I said in the Sagittarius season reading. The notion of creating that little paradise within the proverbial hurricane that represents what is outside of your control, and to really make sure that you're there for people. Because, a nod to the lovers here, it is through love, through loyalty, and to not focus, you're being invited to be of service, but there's an inherent warning to not lose yourself in that. You need to take care of yourself and also be there for people, all right? In a loyal and unselfish way. Finally, those of you who picked this card, your card is choice. Very interesting. This is Mars in Libra. Give me a second to absorb this card. Okay, given the context of this reading, those of you who picked this card, I would say the inherent warning in this card is you've weighed the options enough. Enough dilly-dallying. Just realize that if you try to overextend yourself and you try to have it all, that is not the optimal approach for those of you who picked this card. Try to focus on as far as the vision that you want to create for next year. It is wild what we can accomplish in a year, but those of you who chose this card, I think it might be, you're being invited to be more, for lack of a better term, judgmental in what you choose to include in your vision and exclude in your vision. There might be some things that you're like, maybe, am I sure? Maybe this, maybe that. To really either decide to go after it or decide to not go after it. But don't be sitting on the fence. That's the ultimate thing with this. It's not necessarily that you may or may not be including too much in your vision. It's a question of a lack of commitment to whatever you choose to include and not include in your vision. I think that's the best way to put it. So all in all, this is looking like a really interesting next couple weeks. I will see you in a couple weeks for the full moon in Gemini, I believe. But on that note, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and it resonated in any way, please give this video a like. It really helps out the channel. I'm trying to grow this so that we can get more woo homies to watch these readings and really bring about the world. Get more people into our proverbial digital Helm's Deep that we're in right now. But regardless of that, thank you very much for watching. You take care. I'll see you soon.